Hello everyone and welcome to Walford Weekly, your weekly EastEnders podcast, where this week we will be discussing the episodes released on the BBC in the UK from Monday the 13th to Thursday the 16th of February 2023. I hope you are all well. I trust that you all are. And he's back from his escapades in Iceland and many more escapades from what I've just heard that cannot be aired on this podcast. It's Rob, everyone. Hello Rob, how are you?
Hello, Alexander. I'm very, very well. Did you miss me? Did you?
I did.
Yes,
I did.
Alex.
We took.
That's
I said
good.
that we talked about you on the other podcast, so you were so well missed that you couldn't be forgotten.
Well, you see, and it's Raymond, Alex, not Jordan. So,
Yes, I know. God.
Yes, I had an amazing time. Thank you. Iceland. If you've never been, ladies and gentlemen, go to Iceland after this podcast, and then book the plane tickets. Yeah, because it's great. Honestly, what an amazing country. I saw the Northern Lights from 38,000 feet up in the air on the way home. We were gutted all the way there. We were like, oh, we missed the Northern Lights. We never saw them. We went out on a tour and we're trudging through shin-high snow to get to this remote location in a bus and sort of trying to find the Northern Lights, and they never came out. It was just snowing. It was too cloudy. And then we finally saw them on the way home when we were traveling at night, just on the horizon. Amazing, amazing, amazing. If you follow me on social media on at Robinus87 on either Twitter or Instagram, go and have a look at my photos. Go and have a look at my photos. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing time. And if you see a photo of me sliding down some steps, that was deliberate.
And so he says.
Because I had no grip on my shoes, and I thought I can either break my ankle and my neck, or I can just go down on my arse, and that's what I did. So
that's what you did, like a child learning to use stairs. You just slip one stair at a time.
Do you want me injured, Alex? Do you want me kind of,
Well, in a way, it doesn't matter though if you break your leg, because you're sitting down talking in front of a microphone. So not that I wish you to die. yeah, not that I'm wishing you to have a broken leg.
Good. Oh, good.
So, no, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. Anyway, there's other pictures, I believe, that
ladies
your
and
way. Lady
gentlemen.
pictures.
Rude lady pictures are going on my wall. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has finally arrived. We have been waiting for the whole of 2023. Drum roll, please, Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please reveal and announce the calendar of 2023. It's Sharon, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
There it is.
Shazza's going on my wall for an entire year. How much happier could I be? I mean, yeah, Darren.
Not the first time she's been pinned against a wall.
Yeah, Darren. Dad, I love women. My dad's called Darren. Dad, I love women. No, honestly, I am straight. I love women. Meet the woman. It's
Bless her.
Bless her. So
there's not a route
January.
in sight.
We missed January altogether, but we shall witness January. That was January.
There it is.
That's just iconic.
Pensive, gin and tonic in hand. Yeah, fringe. Yeah. Love it. By the way, I should say, as I always say when we used to do the calendar last year, if you're not watching us, we are on YouTube. You can watch this whole podcast on YouTube right now. Just search Walford Weekly Podcast. But if you're listening to us on Podbean or any of your favorite podcast sites like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do carry on, because it's just Sharon's calendar.
And what I would also say is the same company that made the dot calendar. So I probably foresee a year of escapades with the calendar as well. However, as it's now February, it is time to shift the Sharon. Okay. So,
change the dots.
No, not change the dot. Now we're shifting the Sharon.
How long were you sat on the plane flying back from Iceland thinking of that phrase? Just
3 hours. So we
looking at the Northern Lights.
We go from January to, ladies and gentlemen, meet February Shazza. There she is.
Is that Jack?
Yes, that is Jack. Do you remember this?
I vaguely remember this. Yes.
I vaguely remember him having a thing with Sharon. Where's my hook thing gone?
Here we go. This is where it begins.
There it is. There it is. I've got it.
Not the microphone.
Yeah, there we go. Fill for me, Alex, while I just sort
right. So yeah, this is the
like
usual
old times.
So that's Jack having a bit of a thing with Sharon. It wasn't a fling though, was it? It was an actual full-blown relationship they had together. Jack.
I can't remember, to be honest.
I can't remember that at all.
Let us know in the comment section the history of Jack and Sharon, please, ladies and gentlemen. But
not the full history. We don't need to know the full history. Just give us a date. No one's got time for that. But lovely.
Shaz is up on the wall.
There we go. Everything's right with the world once again. There's an EastEnders calendar behind Rob.
There we go. Let's do this. EastEnders this week. What a week.
Denise and Ravi is where we're starting then, and their ongoing, is it an affair? Will it become an affair? What's happening?
I think,
because
yes.
there's more.
Spoiler alert. I think yes.
there's more to it than meets the eye, because not just the whole Ravi and Denise flirtatiousness, but Jack now has something on Ravi as well, as opened up by Callum in a very rare scene that we saw at the police
Callum
station.
at work.
Investigations. I know. I did enjoy Callum Investigates. I feel like a spin-off detective series is on its way, a bit like Death in Paradise.
Inspector halfway. Bum ba dum ba dum bum ba.
God, what's happened? So Nugget's been mouthing off also about Ricky Jr. and Amy. No, not Amy. Sorry, Ricky Jr. having the kid with Lily.
Yes.
And Jack kind of stands up for his kid, and Ravi takes offense to it. And then also, be it Valentine's Day, Jack had bought Denise some flowers and chocolates, but then accidentally
Sam helped herself to.
Yeah, which I loved. She was smuggling them in quickly in her cheeks like a chipmunk, storing them for later.
That's the way to do it, Sam.
And Denise found out that it was because Amy had told him to do it, and that's the only reason he did it in the first place. And he's not a very romantic person, which has kind of pushed her closer to Ravi. But by the end of the week, she had convinced herself that Ravi had been playing games and that she didn't want anything more to do with him. But there's the inkling there from, Ravi's kind of said, well, what about if we just spent one night together? Just one, see what happens. Well, maybe try that out. So, so lots of sexiness.
Before we get to Denise and Ravi, first of all, can we just briefly discuss this whole thing of what Jack and Callum were up to? What is this about? What have they got Ravi for?
It's new, isn't it? It's just kind of come from nowhere. So
I kind of forgot about it. So it makes me feel like it's going to come back in quite spectacular style at some point. So
on my notes, I've written that Callum finds evidence that Ravi is a foot soldier for the main man. So and normally they're direct quotes from the show. So take that as you will. And I do love the fact that so I'm presuming that some kind of gangster shenanigans are happening, and like Ravi is working for them in the past or still working for them. It seems to have come out of nowhere for the purposes of the story. But at the same time, it kind of gives Jack an excuse, I suppose, to kind of investigate Ravi further. Perhaps that investigation may then lead to him finding out about Ravi and Denise's secret
it makes it interesting, because normally in this sort of storyline, what tends to happen is Ravi and Jack will become best mates for the whole storyline, and then the betrayal hurts even more, doesn't it? So that's the normal route to go down with something like this.
They're not friends, are they?
They're not friends. No, they don't like each other at all. And now Jack has apparently got some sort of police operation going. I love the fact, by the way, that they've finally got round to just making Jack Callum's boss. It's just easier, isn't it? Let's just do that.
Shorthand for police.
Let's just do that. And so whatever that is, I mean, maybe it might get revealed next week, in this massive week that we have no idea what's happening. I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait to see what's going on. Denise is in this trailer. So something happens with Denise next week. So it could all be wrapped up in that. What is happening,
dreams.
Alex? Have you any idea what this is about?
I don't. I've actually, for the first time probably in my whole career of doing this podcast, barely a career, scraping by on this podcast. I've deliberately kind of kept away from spoilers. So I may also this week not look at the comments when people comment on YouTube. Not to say you shouldn't comment below, but I'm just saying, because in case someone might say, "Oh, I can't wait for this to happen," just because I'd be interested. I'd like to see it from some naive eyes this week, like a big puppy waiting for a treat. Yeah, exactly. More naive than myself.
Wow, would they type? So that's all happening next week. Like I say, we have no idea what's happening next week. I'm very, very excited. And by the way, just in case you weren't aware, we've got a double Ashdown next week as well.
Have we?
We have indeed. So that's sorry.
Apologies to anyone listening.
Overexcited. Yeah, sorry. I got overexcited and banged my desk in anticipation. So that's all happening next week. So we're tuning next week to see whatever madness they're kicking off, because they're doing like a full countdown and everything on social media. We've got 4 days to go, according to the EastEnders social media team, and they keep throwing all these little trailers around everywhere. So whatever it is, they want people to be watching it, and they want people to be talking about it. So
is it coming out on iPlayer beforehand still?
I hope not. I don't know. I hope not. Probably though.
Yeah. But maybe they'll do what they did in the past, and they have like the kind of like the
sporadic
build up. Well, they'll have the build up on iPlayer, but like the
Maybe.
important moments won't be. The Ashdown might be kept pulled in. Maybe he's got enough pull at the BBC Elstree studios that he's able to walk in and say, you know what? Don't put my episodes on iPlayer.
I want this at 9 p.m. on a prime time. So we'll have to wait and see.
What about Ravi and Denise, though? How do you think Jack's going to discover this? Because obviously it's going to get found out. And next week, it seems to be leaning toward or indicating that there is going to be something happening between Denise and Ravi. So, and she's already told Kim there is someone that she's kissed as well. Yes. So it's already beginning to unravel a little bit already.
Someone knows. It's the one thing you'd never do in Albert Square. If you're having an affair with someone, you don't tell anybody. Especially not even the person you're having the affair with. You don't tell them either. It's the only way to keep it secret.
Keep it quiet. Aye.
Yes. So presumably that they are moments away from sleeping with each other. It seems like Denise is going to be. I think Jack needs to literally just put a toe wrong, like give her cold coffee or something, and Denise will be jumping on Ravi like a monkey up a tree. So I just think that it's not long, and I think it's going to be interesting because, like I said, with all of this going on, with whatever Jack is investigating Ravi for, it suggests that there's kind of outside stuff going on. Whoever the main man is, I can't even begin to wonder who that is. I can't even begin to wonder who that is. So but
do you think Jack is going to like do a bit of undercover investigation, or Callum? Yeah, Callum might do a bit of it because it seems as though he's trying to work his way up to, he became a police officer in the blink of an eye, so he'll become a detective in less than like an episode of EastEnders. So do you think that in as an initiation, as a path for him to take that route, he'll say to Jack, let me do a bit of undercover. Ravi doesn't know me as well as he knows you. And Jack will be like, yeah, okay then. And then Callum will see that there's this thing happening between Denise and Ravi. And so then Callum will then have that secret that he'll then be torn whether he should tell.
Do you know, I wouldn't hate that. Callum having a story of his own. That'd be nice. Just sort of making him his own character again. Because I've said that's the thing I think Callum needs at the moment, just to have his own little thing to play with, apart from just being Ben's boyfriend. Because we know how much we love Callum. But, just for Callum to have his own little individual moments for a thing. That would be nice, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We have no idea what's coming, so bring it all on. Yes, so yeah, that's all we've got to say on it, really.
All we have to say about that matter. I don't want to say any more. I'm done. Thank you very much. Someone else shut up next week.
Denise and Ravi are kissed, so again, only a matter of time before they're ripping each other's clothes off in fully erotic style, and we'll have to wait and see how long that's going to be, but my money is on next week.
The Panasar power play is continuing this week as they're looking at more retail, like a game of Monopoly. They're just shaking the dice and going all around the board, which is Albert Square, and finding lots of different properties.
The waterworks by the end of next week.
They will, and the electric company, and all 4 stations, because they're the important ones.
Yes.
So the word's got out that Linda is going to need to find someone to buy Janine's half of the Vic, because Janine has said she's going to sell it to the highest bidder, and she doesn't sell it to a chain, because if she does, that Linda will probably end up having to sell it herself. Sharon stepped up and said, what if I can find a way of buying it? So she's going to find an investor to buy half the gym so that she can then release the money to then buy half the Vic. Eve overhears this on her gin and tonic and says to Suki, because she's feeling a bit pained about Suki of what she did to her last week, and said, hey, you know what? I've overheard that half the gym is up for sale, thinking that Suki will buy it with her own money. Suki tells Nish. Nish then goes to the negotiation. Vinny then, when they agree to buy half the gym, says, oh, by the way, I've heard that half the Vic is up for sale as well. And so now Nish has got intentions to buy that too. There you go.
Next storyline. Yes. So this is all very exciting too, because obviously Suki is in the trailer as well. So it's going to be going with Suki as well next week. So it's just all the iconic women of the square, just all thrown into one big old trailer. We don't know what's going on. Love it. And it does seem that this might actually be quite a key point in whatever's going on next week, because Nish, as you say, clearly now has his eyes on the Vic. Now, let's think about this for a second. Sharon and Linda, or the Panasars and Linda, which one would you? I mean, we at one point were championing the Panasars owning the Vic, but this kind of feeling Archie got the Vic, doesn't it? As in, like, we don't want this. This is bad. Bad man having the Vic. We don't want. So where do you think this is going to go?
See, but then that kind of leads to us also saying that there'd be a big storyline then of who killed Nish, maybe storyline, because they did with Archie. I mean, you could argue, okay, they've done it once before, but actually, no, I've got no problem with that. I think there will continue a battle between the Mitchells and the Panasars that was started last week with the chicken shops. I think that as soon as Phil gets earshot, gets wind of knowing that the Panasars have, because I think inevitably they're gonna get it. I think then that's going to start the battle, fire it up a little bit more, because obviously Phil still sees it as a Mitchell kind of place. I think he'd be fine with Sharon having it, but never. I don't think a Panasar having it would be his cup of tea. I mean, other than the kind of the power of knowing that you own the center of the square, that you own the Vic. I know that's the whole point of it. You know, you are the center, you are the nucleus if you own the Vic. Yeah. I mean, Linda openly admits on numerous occasions this week that they're not making any money. So it feels like, and I'm not surprised, because they're buying like decorations every time there's like a theme. Yeah. Like on Valentine's night, they bought literally the whole of Clinton cards in order to fill up that whole pub with balloons. Yep. Yes. I'm not surprised they're not making any money. But
I love the fact that Janine is just sat there plotting more downfall for Linda from within her prison cell. Like, just yes, I do want to meet with her. That's Janine. That's the one we love and know. But I quite agree with Sharon kind of rushing forwards and preventing Weatherspoons from buying it. You know, that would be awful.
No, we don't want him buying it.
We don't want a Weatherspoons in Albert Square. No, very bad. I quite like the idea though of this sort of war going on for the Vic, because that feels like just like a classic old story for the soap, doesn't it? Like and it feels like so long since we've had a Vic war. I mean, a proper Vic war, not like you have it for 6 weeks and then I'll come back and do all that sort of rubbish. Like, this sounds like it's going to be an actual kind of empire war thing for the Vic.
Empire building,
we've not had one of them for a very long time, so I'm quite excited about that. But Nish is really kind of spreading his shadow over the square at the moment, isn't he? Because you forget how many businesses, how many fingers in pies the Panasars have at the moment. I don't know if that rat catching business is still going on. I think they might have forgotten about that and just sort of kept that quiet and never spoke of that again because it was ridiculous.
Slowly snuffed it like the rats that they caught.
But they've also got properties that they own around the square. They've got the Minute Mark. They're now going to have the gym, the restaurants. You know, it's just all going to be Panasar owned soon. I think that's what Nish's kind of main aim is, because he likes control. And we are seeing a lot more of Nish's controlling side. And finally, Eve said to Suki at some point this week, you do realise this is coercive control, which is what it sounded like to us from the very beginning when Suki was first describing Nish before he arrived. So it does seem like we are now officially within the midst of a coercive controlling storyline. With Suki, and it's really interesting with Suki because she seems to go kind of flip between like being quite fiery with Nish and saying, no, I don't want that, and you're not doing it, and then not exactly being a wallflower, but sort of kind of maybe a little bit sort of being kind of timid Suki and everything like that, which is interesting. But I think, and I've seen a few people kicking off about this online and saying, well, how could she be fiery? She would be scared of him, surely. It's like, I have a feeling, though, that someone like Nish would look at someone like Suki and watch her fire and all that kind of thing, and she knows when to use her fire and when to shut up, is the kind of status they put over the relationship, you know? It's
that's interesting. Well, see, I see it as that Nish is letting Suki have enough momentum, enough fire in her to kind of make her feel like she's got some sort of control over the relationship between them, but knows when to reel it in when he needs to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think because through the weeks I've seen that he's doing it more and more and more. Like first of all, he gave her a lot, and then more's been taken away and more's been taken away. And this week when he bought her that top with Panasar written on the top of it, I mean that was almost as bad as what Suki used to do to a Honey, if you think about it, like that kind of control. So you kind of see where she kind of picked it up from
it's interesting, and it's a really fascinating character to give a storyline like this too, because Suki ain't no little Mo, is she? She's more than capable of kind of striking back. But I think that's interesting what you said there, because like it almost seems as though Nish is almost using Suki's fire for his own means. He needs someone like Suki to kind of be there at his side, because if whatever chink he might have in his armor, Suki is now well trained enough to step forward and kind of fill in the gaps. So Suki is a really useful attribute to Nish because of the type of person that she is, and he will have basically turned, and there's a very good chance that he will have basically turned her into the person that she is. There was a reason all along that we knew that Suki was the way she was, quite icy, quite defensive, quite emotionless, and now we know that is more than likely because of her marriage to Nish, and the fact that he was able to get back in with her so quickly means that he has quite the hold over her. So it's a fascinating little dynamic. I really, really enjoy it. And Vinny is just running around like a little lapdog. Bless him. But he had his hair all on style this week, though, so he wasn't stressed. He was coping with everything this week.
He's not troubled.
Troubled Vinny.
Did you like him? Because obviously we didn't talk to you last week, but last week when Vinny decided to rough up a chicken shop and then looked all hidden
Do you know what I
behind
loved
the
about
staircase.
that? Do you know what I loved about that? It was the fact that Suki, when she pulled the hoodie out of the laundry basket. Yeah, and then what did Vinny do? Just like, right, I haven't got any bricks. I'm just going to jump through the window and break it that way. Just covered in shards of glass, like massive.
He kept it within the jumper as well, and then just put it in the laundry basket.
Bother like getting rid of all. No, I'm just going to throw all this glass in the laundry bin. Screw anyone's hands.
Yeah.
Silly
Well, poor
Vinny.
Suki, she cut her finger because of Vinny, stupid Vinny. Cutting the queen, how dare
honestly,
queen.
Ice coming out of her veins.
Exactly, dripping.
So where is this going then? Well, I mean, presumably again, this is also going to lead into next week. I say it again, whatever madness is occurring next week, I think this is going to be a key component. So any ideas at all? What do you think?
Well, I think the Panasars are going to get it. I think they're going to double cross Sharon.
You think they're going to get the Vic?
Yes. So then Sharon would not only have lost the Vic, she's also lost her own gym.
Yes.
And I think this is where it's kind of heading. They're trying to make the Panasars hated, aren't they? So they've done Phil. They'll get Sharon. They'll get Linda, and one by one. And I just feel like I've already said. I feel like we're leading to a Who Killed Nish storyline here.
He does seem the sort of character that was written like he's got murder plot written all over him.
All over his head.
All over his head. I'm going to be murdered. Real target on his face.
Not long on this earth.
It's really. I mean, I loved Suki standing up and making a little speech to the Vic this week. So you've all welcomed us. You know, we're all part of the community now, and everyone's like.
Yeah.
So it's I'm very excited. I just want to know where it's all heading. It's just the fact that we know nothing. That is so exciting, isn't it? Like the fact that we know absolutely nothing. We know like the bare minimum. We know it's going to be kind of a lot of stuff's going to happen in the Vic next week, and that's all we know amongst the women. The end of our information. Brilliant. It should be like this so much more often. Absolutely.
Well, the good thing is because this isn't an issue-based story, they have no kind of contractual obligation to say what the story is going to be in the future. No. Do you see what I mean? So this is kind of like stock soap affair, as it were. Yeah. Like what we're guessing or presuming it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it feels soapy stuff. So it feels quite exciting that they're able
Bubbles
to kind
everywhere.
of keep it popping out over. It feels exciting that they can kind of like keep it under the wraps and keep them nice and secret. You know. What I look forward to is hearing in a few interviews of we filmed alternative endings. That's what I look forward to the most because then I just think, ooh.
I hate to break it to you, but Chris Clenshaw, Clenners himself is on Loose Women next week. Now you couldn't force me to watch Loose Women if you did me up like Clockwork Orange normally. But I might have to force myself if Clenners is on there because it means it's an actual soap producer interview. And when was the last time a soap producer from EastEnders got properly interviewed? I mean, whether you call the panelists on Loose Women proper interviewers is another matter altogether. But
Michael Parkinson.
Yeah.
Loose Women panel.
I'd rather Holly and Phil had a go at him than the Loose Women, but that's just me.
Holly will just pass him over a blooming contract saying something about, horrible. What did he do with David Cameron that time? Remember when he interviewed David Cameron?
Yeah, just handed him a list.
Handed him a list of things that they did wrong.
Yes. Anyway, political stuff. Let's not go there. But yeah, so it's all in all very, very exciting. The only other little Panasar crumb that's going on in the background of all this is Ash and Finley. Now, the thing is, it's hard to get invested in this because of stuff that we know. So I kind of just see that it's okay. They're going to have a little thing. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Like it's two characters that aren't really doing a huge amount at the moment. I don't know, get them to sleep together. So clearly they're going to become one at some point. So they've got this whole thing going with the car, and Ash is getting annoyed because it's outside the GP's office.
Yes, so, Emily the car. Emily the car.
Emily.
In a wheel that they didn't notice was in there in the first place.
Well, I thought when this car turned up, I thought it was going to be the car that what was his name? Can't remember his name. Begins with A.
Oh, their dad.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. that car that he first arrived in when he was driving through the Jordan. Yeah. I thought it was going to be that car. I thought it was going to be that car, but it wasn't. It was this clapped out old banger that somehow managed to find its way to the square. I'm not entirely sure how it even travelled because it's only got 3 wheels. So I don't know how.
I think it was towed. To be fair, yeah. I'll give them that. But like it was undercover as well, so they kind of presumed. It reminded me of the episode of Friends when Joey pretends he has a Porsche and he makes a Porsche out of cardboard boxes and then puts Yeah, it reminded me a bit of that.
I mean, who covered that? Who thought, yeah, we're going to make this like the generation game? Look what you could win, and then just this old clapped out old banger underneath it. We'll see where that goes. But
I mean, like you said, it was just a vehicle, no pun intended, for the whole kind of like Finley and Ash relationship. But what we know what's happening to Ash, as in the actress came back and is going again. I do feel like that Finley might kind of follow.
I mean,
they're not doing much, are they?
They're not doing much with Finley. Felix, I can sort of see he's having his role within the square. You know, he's working in the owl, but he's not doing a lot. I know, but he is still. You know, he's got the whole thing. He's got more. He seems to have more of a relationship with Whitney. You know, I feel like there was more to do with Felix. Finley, who really isn't doing a huge amount at the minute. I mean, it's like I always say, it only takes a storyline to make a character. So
true, but then the storyline that they're giving Finley is with a character that's leaving the show,
so it doesn't bode well, really, does it?
And it's worrying me that they're turning Finley into Peter Beale Mark II
in his vest,
and that's what's worrying me.
Is he going to be? Is he going to be
irritating character?
I don't know what you were going to say then. He's going to be taken to a hospital. Character. He's going to be taken to a hospital, injured his ankle, and be screaming for morphine before the month's out.
Yeah, and then losing Ash's license to practice medicine.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see where it goes, and we'll see what occurs. But the more exciting stuff is the Nish and Suki and Eve stuff that will presumably be kicking off in Big Star next week.
Hey, you know what? We've got now some teeny tiny little stories to talk about. So let's jump on that little train of fun, shall we? We will start then with the return of Keanu. We've been talking about this for weeks. Where's Keanu gone? Where has he gone? He's hidden himself. He's found himself back out again in the world. And he's in a bit of a loose end. All he does is run because he has nothing better to do. And
they do, the lads of Walford, isn't it? That's all they do. Zach does it, Finley does it, Keanu does it. They all just run around the square non-stop and eat protein.
And a whole pint of milk, apparently. Sharon said about Zach this week. There you go.
Protein porridge.
It's protein porridge, that's right. So Keanu is at loose end. Chelsea knows that there might be a job available at the Peggy's as a bouncer. On the same day, that very evening, Keanu is standing in the doorway, smouldering, and Declan Donnelly, I wrote down because he very much liked him, was at the bar, and he was acting up, and Keanu very calmly chucked him out, and Chelsea was like, do you need a job? To Sam, and Sam was like, I'll think about it.
Yeah. Well,
talk about his ass. Go on then,
that guy. Well, what I was going to say first of all was that guy in the bar was credited in the credits as rude customer, which I quite liked.
Oh,
yeah, got a little bit of he got better than just man. You know, rude customer. That's what he was titled. Yes. So, I mean, there was there was a shot this week, very very carefully framed shot of Chelsea's coat as she was walking towards Keanu, but you might have missed Chelsea's coat, however, because it was framed beautifully within the frames of Keanu's arse. Just the cameraman just being a complete perv and just sort of going over Keanu's arse as he was stretching, which I'm assuming is to imply sexual tension between him and Chelsea. I would think.
Not for the female fans and the gay fans, i.e. yourself.
It worked for me, but I didn't catch a word what was going on in the scene. I was just staring there with my big fat floppy wet tongue hanging out of my mouth.
Dinner's ready, Rob. Coming.
Bad. So I mean, Chelsea and Keanu, is this going to be a thing? Do you think? Is this where this is heading?
It seems to be heading that way, doesn't it?
She's done worse. Let's be honest. She has done
great.
Worse. So, and Ravi at one point she was going to trying to go after as well.
I forgot about that, the whole Denise thing. Oh my God,
it's strange, isn't it? I wondered if they were going to bring Chelsea back into that now that Denise and Ravi are sort of doing their thing.
No,
he literally was just using Chelsea to make Denise jealous, which clearly worked.
But then he had some bout of consciousness, didn't he?
Yeah,
consciousness.
Conscious.
Consciousness. He woke up. Conscience. Conscience.
So it's that seems to be a thing, you know. And Keanu, I think, will work all right in Peggy's, won't he? Like, he's just been bouncer.
I mean, it's something for him to do, isn't it? We've been moaning that he's got nothing to do, so it's given him something to do. But Sam hasn't actually given him the job yet. She did say she was thinking about it.
But she will.
He'll be the nice, kind, gentle bouncer. The Keanu we remember before he became dark Keanu.
Yes, but then we say all this about Chelsea. It also feels as though him and Sharon are still going to be a thing again at one point as well, doesn't it? So I can't imagine Sharon. Maybe, there is that.
Maybe to make Sharon jealous. But then Sharon's got this story now with the Vic and Linda and the Panasar.
Sharon is a very busy lady. She can have sex and do business at the same time.
Yeah, but she's also looking after
You don't go on my
baby
wall.
Albie.
Yes, you don't go on my wall if you can't handle more than one storyline at once. So
I've just realised that Sharon was on the show for years, just nothing, desolate. Running around in her trainers at one point after Denny's bullies, and that was
I miss Sharon's trainers. I miss Sharon's trainers. Bring back Sharon's trainers. You could always tell when the scene was about to get interesting. Sharon would wander around her troll. Sharon's got her trainers on. What's about to happen?
I remember we discussed the weight length. Her two legs and a pair of trainers, and that.
Yes. So there we are. Then that's that. Next little tiny story.
Tiny teeny weeny little story, but for a tiny teeny little character, and that's Billy. But we love because Billy is now can't make enough money on the Brick and Brack store. Phil made fun of him and said that Grant's got a job for him, but he doesn't want to leave Lola. But Ben says, "Oh, you're only 2 hours away, so you can come back if anything should happen." So it's really weird. It feels like it's come from nowhere that Billy's now gone for the same as Martin. I know, but why do they always write them out for a break that they find a job elsewhere?
I know, but you say this, but if you think about the madness that we had a couple of years ago with maternity leave storylines,
that's
the stuff that Stacey had to do, the things they had to make happen. To give Lacey Turner maternity leave. I would much rather, I've got a job in Portugal. Okay, see you later. All right, that's fine. Rather than the character turning dark for 6 months and then having to be sent to prison and then coming back. Fine, just go off and build your roof. All right, that's up. Go paint your wall and brick stuff. That's fine. All right, go and do that, and then come back and everything will be back as the way it was. All right, that's fine.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, the writers can't win really because I've been moaning about Keanu not being on screen, even though he's just come back. But perhaps he was having a break before he then goes fall into doing the show. I'm moaning about characters having an excuse to leave the show for quite loosely based reasons, but fine. So I suppose you can't. If I'm going to moan about both instances,
just moan.
You're just going to moan. Yeah, I'm just going to moan. Did you enjoy my postman moan last week? Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that on Instagram. Yeah. I'm so pleased you came back to Instagram for those moments. I've missed them so much.
No. I mean on the show, on the podcast.
Oh, I can't remember.
Do you not watch the podcast when you're not on it, Rob? Clearly, no. So they were the two very small stories this week.
It's all bits and pieces.
I know. But we've got one final large story before we get to I Want to Gossip, and that is Ryan, Whitney, Stacey, Lily. So we'll get onto that next. We had the return of Ryan this week after Whitney made a phone call to him and accidentally, on purpose perhaps, said to him that his daughter is pregnant. Straight away, got in a van.
Might have been a van.
It might have been a van. I see him as a white van man.
Although the way that Ryan was acting was probably a private jet. The way he was throwing his cash around.
Money bags.
Him and Helen.
Can't unlock this part of the stage until you give me 10 gold coins.
I know.
So Ryan comes it back, and Stacey isn't very happy about it, and they're constantly slagging each other off. Lily has had more than enough of it. It's funny that Sam again was the most mature person during that ultrasound.
Love Sam. I love Sam. I love Sam at the minute.
Please? Ricky's having a moment with Lily.
We're in a hospital. Behave yourselves. I love Sam so much.
It's like mature, like gone to 11. It's insane.
Marvelous character.
I do. I love Sam to bits. Absolutely love her to bits. But Ryan wants to take Lily back home with her and with his wife Helen. I get the impression that Helen. I correct me if I'm wrong, but Helen had some 3 miscarriages, so they're trying for a child. So I'm guessing that he wants Lily to come, perhaps for them to then look after Lily's child as their own.
It didn't sound as though Ryan was doing all of this out of the goodness of his own heart. No, it sounded like there was definitely alternative motives. Question: have we ever met Helen?
No.
Okay, good. So that's that then. Right, so so Ryan returns and everything. I mean, I quite enjoyed all this stuff with Ryan. I have to say, he wasn't around for long. I think like a handful of episodes, like 3 episodes. I think he turned up for. But I thought it was quite fun, and him and Stacey having a little kind of get together and yelling at each other. It was all marvelous.
It was like they never left. It was like they were never apart. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Really well.
But Lacey Turner again, she's just so easy to work with. Look at Eve. She's so easy to just slip in.
Lacey Turner needs knighting. I tell you, I would give that woman an Oscar if she walked into the Vic and ordered a Diet Coke. I love her. She's just amazing. So I mean, so basically, Ryan is, like you say, is trying to use Lily as an excuse to kind of take like effectively 2 children home with him to kind of make his little family complete. And he's the kind of watching everything that's going on with Stacey this week, you know, because Stacey gets her van broken into this week. Stacey's bats at the moment is no more because she left Freddie alone with it. She left Freddie alone with it for 5 minutes.
Magic fingers, Freddie. I can make £5 turn into 2 bacon rolls. I cringed.
You know, I think Freddie just Freddied all over it, and the van got broken into. Him and Bobby went off and sold some bats and earned a bit of cash. Bobby's sort of Bobby at the moment is hilarious. He just just keeps like, well, we're not getting a huge amount of Bobby at the moment, which I think is a shame because I love Bobby. And he kind of walked in at one point and told Stacey that he needed to get his hands on her baps, which I quite enjoyed. I thought that was quite a nice little moment. And then him and Freddie did a bap dance in the Vic, which I have to be honest, reminded me of that moment when Martin and Kush, the fish and chip dance. There we go. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Inside me. Yes, please. Oh, I get war flashbacks.
It's like the rake hitting me in the face and me shivering every time I hear
it. Anyway, so Stacey's bats at the moment is no more because they can't afford to kind of keep the van. And I want that van back because it's actually turned into a lovely little community part of the square.
Totally. I love come over and have a little chat with evil Stacey.
Really nice. Yeah, it's turned into a really nice little bit of the square where the characters could just sit and have a natter. It's great. So hopefully that will sort itself out and come back soon. So the van's gone for the moment because Freddie's an idiot. Ryan eventually comes back and just sees all this chaos kicking off, and just makes the decision. Right, well, Lily can come and live with me. And Lily's delighted because he's got a dog, so that's enough to kind of sway her for the moment.
That's true.
And she's sort of.
Lily is only 12, don't we?
Yeah. Well, I'd go for the dog. To be fair, wouldn't you? I'd go for the dog.
100%. What,
me
did
and that dog were best mates.
Did he say golden retriever? I'm sure he said golden retriever.
Well, it's called Baxter. I think that's what we got.
Maybe I imagined he was a golden retriever.
Well, maybe he is. I can just imagine it just being some sort of gorgeous little pup, but
yeah, a beagle
or German Shepherd or something. I don't know.
No, Baxter doesn't suit. No, it doesn't suit a husky either. I got bit by a little rat dog this week as well.
Good. So, was it Ben?
Yeah,
I'm joking, Ben. I love you. Anyway, what did you do to annoy a rat dog? What could you possibly?
Sorry, I just kind of dropped it. I did nothing to annoy it. I delivered a part. I drop kicked it over a fence. No, I wish I had. No, I just delivered a parcel and it didn't like me very much. Dogs normally love me. I had a boxer follow me back to my post van 3 weeks ago. I had to walk all the way back from the van. What
did Ben think of that when you came home with a boxer? I haven't got his spare room. I'm going to.
It's getting bad.
Yes.
Bad Rob. I'll wipe your nose in it.
You don't help yourself, do you? You don't help yourself. Anyway, moving on. So Stacey and Ryan are at loggerheads all week. Lily goes to her scan this week, but bizarrely everything's absolutely fine because we've become very used to characters getting pregnant and then going to a scan. They're instantly being problems. So I was kind of surprised to see like a fine baby on that scanner machine because it seems like a while since we've seen one of them. But everything's fine with that. Ricky's all very excited because I think it probably hit home for him this week that, oh my God, that's my baby. I'm going to be a dad. Yeah. Oh, boom. Mind blown.
That's what happens when I have sex.
So then Ryan suggests, after he's seen that Stacey's kind of struggling to kind of put milk in her tea, that she, he says, well, why don't you just come live with me? And Lily starts to feel guilty about all the sort of sacrifices that Stacey's having to make and all the kind of things that the family are having to do to kind of keep everything running as it is. So you can kind of see the logic of Lily's brain at that point. You kind of think, it gives a nice little side to Lily that she's not some selfish little girl who just expects everything to be dropped for her. Like, she wants to make things easier for her family. So that was nice. But then she kind of walks in when she's broken the news to Stacey that she's leaving. She leaves her and Ryan alone in the room for a little bit, and they immediately start having a slanging match. And then Ryan just turns really nasty, doesn't he? And sort of like starts slacking Jean off, saying that she's a nutter and that it's not safe and that Stacey's had loads of kids from different dads, including you, sir. So but Lily overhears this, tells him to do one, which fair play. And then Ryan's gone again. That was right.
Well, Ryan has now said he's taking away the child.
Yes,
payments
so
as well.
It's going to get even worse.
Worse for them. That's the thing. I mean, also like they can't. Eve must be making some decent money with the Panesars, so I don't know why.
Well, I don't know because I don't know though because it's Stacey. Like Nish keeps handing Eve like 50 quid for something, so it's not like she's like raking it in. Really,
maybe it's being so it's not taxed. Maybe he's just kind of
there's cash. It's under the table. It's under the table, like cash in hand, undeclared. Sort of Yes. That's why I don't know. But also, Stacey's in the trailer as well, so something's going to happen with Stacey next week as well. So
maybe she's going to buy the Vic. She's going to go find money. I don't know. I find it tricky because I kind of see both sides to this story. Because also Stacey Lily said to her mum that like I don't like the way you talk to Ryan, and Stacey was like, you know, dad. One night with me, it does not a dad make. You know, Martin is basically your dad because Martin's been bringing you up. You know, he brought her up. She's been paying for like looking after her school uniform. You know, for her, you know, to have the good things. He's out right now trying to raise money so they can, you know, have a baby. So it's a tricky situation because it does feel like Ryan's just kind of flown in and kind of like pushed his weight around. But as you say, it makes sense really for him to offer this kind of olive branch for Lily, even if it's just like while she's pregnant, just kind of keep her safe in an environment which isn't so stressful for her. I mean, last week Ben and I got an email and it talked about the issue of a 12-year-old having a child. I mean, that's not been discussed very much either. Is that something you think they're going to kind of maybe bring forward in this story at some point?
I've got to be honest. I think what's going to happen with Lily's baby is that when whatever is going to go happen with Whitney and Zach's baby, I have a feeling that Lily's baby is going to end up with Whitney. The way that it's going. So I have a feeling that Lily's baby is going to be absolutely fine and not sort of have any complications. So I think that side of things is kind of be kept on the down low a little bit. And they're not really good. Like it seemed that they were really going well with the Lily pregnancy stuff when they were bringing in like all the police stuff and like how they needed to investigate what exactly had gone on. That was all really, really good. And then I think that they're now just going to kind of keep Lily and let her just be pregnant and let her give birth in a suitably dramatic style or something. And then the baby's going to end up going with Whitney is my guess, but who knows? I may be surprised because this era is full of surprises, so it might not go that way. So we'll see what happens. But like I say, Stacey stuff next week, so let's see what happens.
Quick question also for you. Yes. Do you think that this could lead to, because I think this was only meant to be a temporary return for Ryan. However, I think it was quite well received. I initially said they wouldn't bring Ryan back. They did. Now I'm kind of. I feel like
the week after we said that.
It was the weekend. They announced it the weekend that we released the episode. Me, Mystic Meg, that's me. Do you think there is scope or room for Ryan to return with Helen and then for Lily to move in, and then that perhaps because we're saying you're right, it could be that Whitney ends up having Lily's baby, but there's still that kind of open idea there that maybe Ryan ends up having it and bringing it up as his own with
maybe
Helen.
I mean, the thing is, what we're kind of being expected to believe now, if Ryan doesn't return again, then we're kind of fully being expected to believe that Ryan has kind of gone off, he's giving Stacey less money, and that he's just kind of go, right, screw you all then, and I'm just not going to contact Lily ever again, which seems as much as an arse as Ryan is. As much of an arse as Ryan has been this week, I kind of feel like he wouldn't do that. So there may well be a potential for Ryan to come back in the future. It's all worked this week with him being there, by the way. So, you know, all the stuff with Stacey and like there was nice little moments like him and Sam kind of coming across each other again. I had no idea that those two had even met, but Ryan met Daniela Westbrook, Sam, and not Kim Metcalf.
Oh,
so there you go. I mean, like the stuff he had a few little things with Kat this week as well. So I think there's stuff for Ryan to do if he should come back again. So yeah, bring him back on again, absolutely fine. And obviously he's got Whitney there as well. So yeah, I could have Ryan back quite happily. But there we are then. So next week is when it's all kicking off. I can't wait. Final predictions for next week. Anything at all. Go on. Once now we've discussed all the stories and we know everybody that's involved. We know that Stacey's involved. We know that Sharon's involved. Suki. Kathy is involved in it somehow as well.
Yes, Kathy's kind of
no idea. Like Kathy's in the trailer. I've got no idea what Kathy's involvement could possibly be. So, any ideas?
All I can think of is that the Nish is going to do something that upsets all of them, and it's basically because they're all female characters. It's going to be a woman scorned type cliffhanger storyline. But it feels a bit quick to do something where Nish gets killed so quickly.
They're bringing the term "everything can change in a flash." That seems to be the tagline for this week. Now, Flash it implies obviously in a second, in a moment, anything can happen in, the blink of an eye. However, flash also implies some form of, I don't know, I get the sense that maybe some sort of flash forward or something like that, something crazy like that.
Yes, there has been a few rumours as well.
Yeah,
I think I've seen the rumours of that going around. There's going to be a flash forward episode. So presumably, New Year? They're already predicting New Year. But there's a dangerous game to play because they did that at Hollyoaks and then COVID struck. Not to say. You remember that? So on the 1st of January, they did basically the end of a story for that year. Yes. And then March 2020, and they had COVID. So they had to literally rush that story so quickly into the end. I'm not saying there's going to be a world pandemic again.
I don't think I want another one. Do you want to fancy another one? No, I don't want another one. Thank you. Yeah. But we shall see what happens next week. Throw your comments and theories into the boxes below. Let us know what the hell you think the Flash ending thing is going to be next week. What madness is occurring for? What is EastEnders' anniversary episodes? They are doing something for their anniversary this week, and we don't know what it is, and it's marvellous. Throw your theories in the boxes below. Now then, it's now time. Stop
banging your desk, please. All the people listening are going to get hurt.
Sorry, but it's now time for I Ain't Want to Gossip, and Alex has an announcement.
You know me, I ain't want to gossip.
A different I Ain't Want to Gossip this week, as Rob and myself have announced that I have something to say to you listeners and viewers out there. Before I start, I want to thank Harry for his email this week. He sent me an email about digestive biscuits and his being the favourite Tesco vegan ones too. So well done, Harry. I'm glad I'm not the only madman who cheered when I saw them back in the shop, but just there. I thought I'd start on a happy note. On a slightly maybe not so happy note, depending on the person that you are, if you enjoy the show or not. I've made the decision, and I actually made this announcement to Rob a couple of weeks ago, that I will be stopping and ending Walford Weekly podcast as of episode 250. We will no longer be producing the podcast on our YouTube channel or audibly. Myself or on Walford Weekly as a name, let's just say. That doesn't mean that a podcast will no longer be made. Rob has decided that he will continue. He will take the torch and start a brand new podcast that he will be starting, I believe, near to when I finish. The week after. I don't want to give a definitive date just in case, because Rob has told me he kind of the plans, and so that's really exciting for Rob. And
it's terrifying for Rob, all right? And it's genuinely terrifying. I hate you for making me do this.
it will be absolutely brilliant, and it will be absolutely perfect, and it'll be very exciting. And as we build
should have seen my reaction when he told me. All right, I malfunctioned. Let me tell you, when he told me, first of all, he said, I need to ring you. Alex has never rang me in the 2 years that we've done this podcast, so I knew something bad was about to be told to me. So yes, and then he told me the news.
As we build up to the final episode, we will get more tidbits and bits and pieces about what Rob's podcast will be. Maybe a few trailers here and there. He says with excitement. And as I say, the final episode that will be recorded of Walford Weekly podcast will be episode 250. I believe that's the last week of March. As always, with preparation of this show, I've not done the date, but I will post more information as we get nearer to it. The decision was genuinely a very hard one to make. It's not something I took lightly. I enjoy watching the show. I enjoy talking about the show. I love coming on every week talking to Rob. You only see the hour that we record. There's at least another hour where we just talk nonsense to one another, and it's all stored on my computer and ready for blackmail purposes in the future. So if anyone's wants the highest bidder, then just let me know and I'll keep it. I'll send it to you in a file. No sweat whatsoever. I will. I'm a cheap. I'm like I say, I'm a cheap date. I will do anything for a few pennies. But unfortunately, a few things have got in the way. Also, I just feel like I've done what we can now, and I'd rather that a more exciting and fresh pair of eyes took over, and I know that can be Rob, and I know Rob's going to do brilliantly at it, and he's going to do a fantastic podcast in the future. So as I say, details will follow as soon as Rob
stops having a nervous breakdown. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to talk for you, Rob. I don't want to say exactly what it is. You have given me a few details. I don't want to put on until.
I mean, I can talk about what I can talk about at the moment.
Okay.
Hopefully, all being well, there will be a new podcast arriving in your ears and your eyes. As soon as we finish Walford Weekly. Some of you will be utterly thrilled by that news. I can tell you that for a fact. I mean, obviously, I was very sad when Alex told me this news, and I've given him lots of abuse. Let me tell you, he has received no end of it. He really has. But I will have a new presenting partner, and that will be announced officially. Do we think we are? That will be announced in the coming weeks, as well as more and more details about what is actually planned move forward. I hope it's going to be exciting. I hope it's going to be, let's be honest, I hope it's going to work, and I hope it's going to be good, and I hope that at least some of you will join me and kind of jump ship, and well, I'll say jump ship, but follow me on the new journey. Walford Weekly, as far as I'm aware, will still be doing the spoiler videos. As far as I'm aware, is Ben still doing that?
Like I said, I've done this very badly. I should have got a speech set up or something. Yeah, no, Walford Weekly Twitter and all
why start now?
And yeah, that's what I mean. I've never been up for 250 episodes. I've not been prepared, so why is beginning now? Yeah, with the Twitter and the YouTube channel will stay on. Ben will continue doing the spoilers every week. Perhaps if some big event should happen, maybe we might do a thing here and there. Perhaps. No.
That's not allowed.
I was going to say, no. I'm not guaranteeing anything like that. Trust me, I'm not guaranteeing anything like that. But like I say, I say it's our 250th episode. In actual fact, by the time, because we've done other episodes as well, like we did the crossover with Conversation Street. We did like specials, we do review of the year, so on and so forth. So actually we reached almost 300 episodes by the time we finished recording this. So, and like I say, and again, I should have done this at the top of the show. I should thank everyone who listened to the show and watched the show and took part of the show, sent us emails, sent us messages, made fun of us, told us everything we got wrong. I appreciated all of it, and it's been really good fun, but perhaps it's just time for me to put up my cap, get in the black cab, and maybe just drive away just for a little bit. But as I say, the show's carrying on. We got 6 more weeks of this, and then it's the big finale, episode 250, I believe at the end of March. If you want to send us goodwill emails that we can read out at the end, or horrible emails, we'll read them out as well. Why not?
Abuse.
If you have to send us abuse now, just do it. I don't care.
Stop now.
Then please do. Details are obviously at the end of the show. Rob will go through them in a minute. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything more than that. And I'll have a proper speech at the end, and I'll ruin you all. I'll ruin you. I'll tell you. And we might even see Ben in the final episode as well. I think I might have convinced him to come on for the end at least. So that'd be good as well. So that'd be good. But yeah, so carry on. We're still here. We're just not here for the infinite future. Let's just say
it's not the end. It is just a new turning point, a new chapter in EastEnders podcasting. Exactly. So we'll just see how it goes. So now we've got dropped that bombshell on you. You can do the following and hurl lots of abuse at Alex for putting me in this position. I would appreciate that greatly. And you could do that by doing the following. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Walford Weekly. You can find us on Facebook at Walford Weekly Podcast. On YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications about the spoiler videos. And you can email us on robwalfordweekly@gmail.com or alexwalfordweekly@gmail.com. So the news is out. How does that feel?
Weird.
Feel better
Actually,
now? Yeah, no, not doing that.
No. When I told you, it felt a bit like, oh, okay, I've told you. And then last week when I said, oh, I've got an announcement to make, I was a bit like
that early as well.
I'll do that. No, I didn't know. No.
You
should do this on camera, mister. I said to you I was going to, because this is actually our 5th birthday as well, this episode.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. 10,000 subscribers. Cheers. Bye.
See you later. No, I let them. Punk Mary. That's what I should do, my exit. But,
maybe.
But yeah, no, I don't mean, it actually feels a bit weird now. It feels like I'm telling everyone.
No backing out now, is there? Never mind. Well, we have.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and we have 6 more episodes of Walford Weekly to go, and we hope you'll be there and join us. So until next week,
era.
Yes. Yes. This has been the John Sten era. The Clenners era is still to come.
Exactly.
There you go.
The better show.
Until next week, darling viewers and listeners, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from myself. Have a lovely weekend and week. See you next week. Bye.